You know, Aaron Boone and Brian Cashman, they had their year-end press conference today. Andy, let's get right to it. What was your main takeaway from that?
I think the main takeaway was that Aaron Judge doesn't need elbow surgery, because this was a question hanging over the Yankees since July. In fact, and I know we've talked about this before, Sal, in the show, but when Judge first went down with what became a flexor strain in July, the Yankees were bracing for the fact that this could be Tommy John surgery. At that point, they would have become most likely sellers at the trade deadline. It's a whole different universe for the Yankees, missing Judge for a year plus. And there wasn't any indication that it was going to be that since, but there wasn't any indication of anything. We didn't know anything about Judge's elbow, really, since I mean, we know he returned to the field and his throwing got gradually somewhat better, but that press conference could have been Aaron Judge needs reconstructive elbow surgery or Aaron Judge is fine. And because it was Aaron Judge is fine, it's like, okay, 2026 is back on. I mean, he's that big of a deal, right? So that, to me, was far and away the biggest takeaway.
Top takeaway with the lineup, for me, the pitching sort of stands out, where I thought the Yankees were going into this offseason with a surplus, and now they kind of got to keep things as they are. Carlos Rodon dealing with that bone spur, getting that elbow cleanup, so he's not going to be on time. He's not going to be ready for opening day next year based on this recovery timetable. So you go into the next season and at least the first month of the year with no Cole, no Rodon, no Schmidt. That makes Max Fried invincible. He needs to be there. You have Cam Schlittler sliding up to be your number 2 starter in your opening day rotation.
Good point.
And then all of a sudden, Luis Heel, maybe you could have flipped him this offseason. Maybe you could have explored that at least. Now you can't. The Yankees have a shortage in starting pitching, at least for the short term. And we know you show up to spring training next year, everyone's going to be like, Fried, Schlittler, and they're going to be mapping everything out, and then somebody's going to go down. It happens every spring training.
Sign Stroman.
Exactly. Oh, geez. So you go from surplus to, maybe you got to take a flyer on somebody to fill out that back end of the rotation.
Yeah, I took a little bit more of a macro view seeing Cashman and Boone back on the stage again, guys, and it's like my takeaway was like, they're getting way too good at this. They've been doing this every year for the past 16 years, trying to explain away things they can't fix. And I'm wondering, you know, I didn't really think it was Boone or Cashman's fault. They didn't get to where they needed to go this year. But I also started to wonder, how do you keep running it back? I mean, this is a franchise now that has made it to the playoffs 26 out of the past 31 years. And now they've gone blank for the past 16 as far as World Series titles. And they keep kind of saying the same things. One of the things Cashman I really clung to, too, is the fact that he said they have championship caliber intent. It's no more winning is second to breathing from the late Boss's days. Yeah. You know, I just think that it's time to recalibrate a little about what we think about the Yankees. The gap has been closed so much now. They no longer have the core 4. That was a long time ago. They no longer have the biggest wallet. Now they have to beat everyone at the same game, and they haven't been able to do it. And so I'm curious, one of these years, when are they going to come up with these answers? They tried to touch on a couple of those things. You know, Cashman defended Boone and say why he likes him as manager. All good reasons, I thought. Boone was asked point blank, what should people think? Why should they think that you can run it back with you two and think the result is going to be different next year? And Boone was like, I don't know. So, I mean, at least he was honest about it.
I appreciate
But it
honesty.
really has become such a weird space right now where they keep on building these teams that we think are going to win the World Series, only to fall short in early October, unlike last year, of course. But so it's really kind of puzzling how they're going to finally close the gap here.
I think they need, one of the things you said, Dave, I think hopefully they can change the rhetoric for their own sake around this franchise, because the George Steinbrenner thing that Derek Jeter then always repeated for all those years about if you don't have a championship, it's a failure, that doesn't help anybody. All that means is a lot of fans are going to be miserable all season until a LCS or Division Series loss. It means you have unrealistic expectations in a game that no one's won 2 World Series in a row since the Yankees did it a quarter century ago. We'll see what the Dodgers do in the next couple of weeks. Right. But, you know, you are never, ever going to be like the late 90s Yankees, nor will anybody else, most likely. So the faster the Yankees can change their branding on that, the better for everybody, because it's not realistic. And people forget that the context that George Steinbrenner said that stuff and set those themes in stone was like a guy who was really irrational and made a lot of bad decisions. And he probably would have fired Boone, and then they would have had a worse manager, and it would have been an impulse fire, and it's better that they're not doing business that way now.
I am curious, though, how Steinbrenner keeps investing in a team that's top 3 payroll every year, bringing back the same guys and not getting better results. So he has a reason to think to start asking questions.
Can the Yanks, Emmanuel, go into next year relying on Anthony? Forget opening day because we know he's not going to be there. Cashman just said it. Relying on him to be their starting shortstop?
They can hope. They can't rely on Anthony Volpe as the starting shortstop anymore. And I found it interesting. If anybody thought this was a ringing endorsement of Anthony Volpe today,
No, it was not.
listen
No.
again. We heard we'll see. We heard in the mix to be the starting shortstop. That was interesting to me. In the mix was never uttered during the course of this regular season where Anthony Volpe struggled. And you factor that in, marry it with the fact he's damaged goods right now. There's a major shoulder surgery he's looking to recover, bounce back, come back from. So let's say everything goes well. There's no setback in this recovery. Anthony Volpe enters next year with a rehab assignment, maybe in late April, early May. That's a minor league rehab assignment. The Yankees are going to be, unless they see overwhelming evidence he's good to go, he's going to perform at the major league level, they're in no rush to bring him back up.
Point.
He's got options. He'll be on a minor league rehab assignment.
So he's already there, is what you're saying.
He's there, so he's got to earn his way back up. That's the way I look at this. And that wasn't the case a few weeks ago. Now it's we'll see. Now it's in the mix. It's no longer Anthony Volpe is definitively our starting shortstop.